What's up, van lifers? Welcome to the Dirty Bench. Today we're going to just talk about Unistrut. It has a million uses. There's tons of different accessories, different sizes, different shapes, colors, metals, everything. I used it when I went out west to build a loft bed and to build the roof rack. So I do see a lot of people using it for their roof racks and whatnot, but this video isn't meant to persuade you into using Unistrut in any way, shape, or form, but just to give you some other options instead of using wood to use Unistrut and all the abilities that it has. So one thing I like to talk about, I do see a lot of, is using it as a roof rack. So we'll just use this as a little demonstration. Here's your hood, here's the back door, and then usually, you know, the main pieces run parallel with the vehicle, but they're usually offset inside the vehicle a couple inches or even sometimes a foot, depending on where you decide to mount it. Picture this, the edge of the workbench is the edge of the vehicle. So a lot of times I'll see where people will run their strut, their cross members, they'll run it and they'll stop right there, leaving a gap, you know, about that much before the edge of the vehicle. Personally, I like to run it right to the edge, so it's flush with the edge of the vehicle. The reason for that is if you ever wanted to add something, I mean, you can even extend it too, doesn't matter. As long as it's bolted on both sides and you don't exceed, you know, what you feel comfortable, you can actually hold a lot of weight. So if you do bolt it to the side, so it's all the way flush, one thing to consider is that you can add then side accessories along the whole side of your vehicle. One of those, say you throw a 90-degree adapter here, and then you run strut sideways, like this, down the whole length of your vehicle. And why would you do that? Well, this gives you a perfect spot to mount your awning, your 180-degree awning, or if you wanted anchor points to be able to put in an eye bolt for your canopy, a tarp, or even a hammock if you had something on the other side to tie it to. One of the things I do see a lot is people will run their Unistrut so the opening is facing up, which is great, and I personally love that. Now, there's no true right or wrong way to use the Unistrut, but the cross pieces, I see people mount them face down. So the hole, their channel, is actually on the bottom. I'm not a big fan of that because now if I want to add or bolt anything to the top of this, you either got to through bolt it and it's hard to get your finger underneath here because you only got about 7/8 of room. If you flip it over like this, now your channel is open. What I think a lot of people don't know is all the accessories that are available for Unistrut. They make what are called Strut Nuts. This is a 3/8 strut nut. Comes in a quarter, 5/16. I think you can even get 1/2 inch. So you can really support a lot of weight if you wanted to. Now these do slide in from the end, or the whole benefit and why I love these is that you can just drop it directly and spin it and it locks in place. And the benefit, like if you got solar panels but you don't know, you know, if that's going to be the final location for them, you know, sideways or left to right, instead of what I see a lot on the page is people will self-tap right into these for your solar panel. Well, that locks you down. You can't go left to right. So if you do that, it works, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but you're stuck with that area unless you back out your screws, re-self-tap them in, or bolt them, however you do it. If you do it this way and you use a strut nut, you bolt your solar panel right there, or your device, your kayaks, your water tanks, your whatever. All you do is back out your screw a little bit, and then you can slide your device left or right, which makes it real easy. And that goes for the crossbars as well. You can slide those forward and backwards, which makes it just super agile to do whatever you want. So I'm a huge fan of the strut nuts. Now this is a strut nut without a washer on it. So if I was going to be mounting, like say an eye bolt here for some reason, you just can't thread your eye bolt into there because there's nothing that's going to hold the nut, the strut nut in place. In that scenario, you would then put a strut washer, which is the width of the strut, over top. And then you tighten in your eye bolt after you put on a lock washer. Always use a lock washer. So in this particular scenario, throw your square washer in, throw a lock washer on your forged eye bolt. What a forged eye bolt means is that there's no ring. So if you've got an eye bolt from Menards or Home Depot, you're gonna find there's a little slit in there where they just bend the metal. This is poured and solid, so this can support 900 times more than an unforged eye bolt. So I got my lock washer on there, put it on, and you'd screw it all the way down until it's tight, and then boom, that thing is not going anywhere. Once it's tight, it pushes pressure underneath, and that thing is locked in place. So that's the cheapest way to do that option. Now they do make a super expensive strut nut that has the washer built onto it. This is made by Beeline. It's the NW528. This is a 3/8 strut washer. A little easier to demonstrate. So it's got a short side and a long side. So it's parallel, spin it. That thing is locked in place. Still slides, but it's all in one. So you never lose the washer. They're just like $3.33 a piece if you buy them wholesale. So they get expensive. Now this is just regular painted, shallow strut is what they call this. So it's by far the cheapest, and since it's painted, it's got a little corrosion resistance in it, but it's green. No one likes green, so rattle can it up to whatever color you like. They do have other variations of Unistrut. This is just a galvanized, zinc galvanized Unistrut, and this is also regular Unistrut, which is 2 times thicker than the shallow Unistrut. So I built my loft and slept my 7 and 10-year-old on top of it with these as crossbars like this. You could install them like this and they would hold even more, or you could upgrade if you're a little bigger person or have to support more weight. You could support with a regular Unistrut. They also have really deep Unistrut where you can actually run a trolley in here back and forth. It's got 4 casters on it and a blade down for you to mount stuff to, so you could actually run it up and down. That's not as practical in van camping, but someone may find a use for it. This is regular strut, but they call this slotted. So all the holes on the bottom side are quite elongated compared to regular strut. This gives you a little bit more versatility when you're trying to slide it left or right. These ones, if you had a problem and you needed to go right there, well, you'd have to drill a hole. These guys get you a little more options. I rarely use this, but when you need to be really precise, it does give you a few more options. They make deep strut, like I said, and it's actually twice as deep as this is, as the regular strut. So that's not as common. This regular strut and the shallow strut you can find at any Home Depot, Menards, whatever. But then if you need to raise something off a strut, you can use what we like to call all thread. It's just a really long threaded rod. It doesn't have any ends on it, so you cut it to length and then you add it on here. So this is a strut nut with a washer, and it has my nut on there, and I can't, once that's tightened down, you can't move it. It's tightened down, it doesn't go anywhere. So if you wanted to elevate and have, like, I don't know if I'd ever do it, but say you wanted 4 kayaks on top of your roof rack. You know, you have your kayaks, they fit in between your strut like this, and then you could have it stacked up, and then you could have kayaks on top of this. I would never do that. That's a lot of weight going up into the air on top of a already 7-foot tall vehicle, but there's other applications where, you know, that would work if you're hauling wood or something of that nature. You could do that. So, like I said, this video isn't meant to persuade you to use Unistrut a certain way. It's just showing you the different ways that you could use it if you wanted to. I find this a lot stronger than wood. It's a lot thinner. Gives you kind of an industrial look if you're using it inside, but I don't know if I would, some people call it cold because it's metal, but it's very utility based. So like I said, you can pretty much add anything you want anywhere if it's positioned correctly or in this way where you want to be able to add. So yeah, I mean, that guy just twists in, this kind just twists in, and then you can add your accessories dividers. I mean, people will use these, the 90-degree angles, and these come in every shape: single hole, dual hole, 4-hole, flat, T's, L's, you name it. A lot of people make ladder racks out of these. You've seen it on the site already. So you put that on the end, and then that stops your ladder from falling off the side of your vehicle and gives you anchor points for whatever you're hauling as well. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to show the video of some of the options, and I love to see the creations. Keep them coming, and happy camping.